Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, episode number 162. Coming up on this episode, the Leafs open training camp for the 2023-24 season. Mitch Marner says all the new guys bring out a little piss and vinegar. Sheldon Keefe plans to start Nylander at center. I don't know about that. We'll look at the line combos from day one at camp. All this and more coming up on episode 162 of the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast.
Tree Living said on opening day, Chad, that he wished he didn't use the word snot to describe how he wants the team to play.
Well, I'm glad he did.
I don't understand that because I thought it was absolutely perfect thing to say, but he said it took on a life of its own. That's what he said. But Marner immediately follows it up with his little presser on day one. And he says he loves that this team added, like you just said, a little piss and vinegar. And I love that. Here we go. 162 of the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. Let's hit the intro.
Tavares coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
And how's everybody doing? How are you doing, Dale?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. All good.
Did you watch all the stuff today? All the press conferences?
I did yesterday. Today, they just kind of put out one big video of it. I just combed through it. There wasn't, was there any standout there for you?
No, it's always so much cliche shit.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Steve Simmons tried to stir the pot a little bit, asking John Tavares about Mike Babcock. I'm like, why? What? You think he's going to give you an answer? But he's always got to get his dick in there stirring it.
I can't believe that Steve Simmons is still allowed to attend these pressers. I can't believe it. You know, none of them want to, come on, dude. It's just every time I hear Simmons' voice, you know who it is immediately asking the question.
Oh, I know. He has such a distinct voice.
I'm just like, here we go. Here we go. This guy again. He just can't help himself. Just cannot help himself with
he all the Mike Babcock stuff going around. He basically, if you didn't see it, he asked John Tavares. He said, you chose to come to Toronto, and Mike Babcock had a big helping in bringing you to Toronto. What do you think? What's your relationship with him, and what do you think about the story that's going on in Columbus? Why would the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs chime in on what's going on with the Columbus Blue Jackets just because, 5 years ago, Mike Babcock coached the Leafs and helped management try to get John Tavares signed here?
Yeah.
He's not going to answer that. It was so stupid. I'm like, you're just looking for some shit, man.
Of course not. No, it's crazy. But
didn't love it, Steve.
Nope. Anyway, are you going to do the socials or what?
I'll do them at the end.
Okay. So look, guys, we'll get right into it here, I guess, with Leafs open training camp for the 2023-2024 season. So, today was the first on-ice day. I've got some potential line combinations and all that to get into. We'll just do a quick little one here, But I don't know, not a lot to take from day one, which was technically yesterday. They had the golf tournament on Monday. They had their physicals and some media availability on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we're doing this Wednesday night on ice today for the first time. But so one thing to note was that Tree Living came out and he said that our boy, Bobby McMahon, still a lingering injury from last season that is preventing him from not attending camp. He's there, but they're in three. They're split up into three groups, group 1, 2, and 3. He's going to be participating in group 3. Do you know what that I don't recall what exactly happened to him, but it must have been something not good if it's still affecting him now.
Yeah. Tree Living, I don't know what the injury was, but Tree Living just described it as lingering. And he didn't say that he's not partaking. He said
he's not ready to start with the.
Well, he said he can't partake in full.
Okay.
But he's still doing some stuff, probably no contact and different things like that. But he's there.
Yeah, okay.
and he's still like he probably did the physical of what he could, and
yeah, like
so he's got to be close. But because it's from last season,
yeah,
Jesus,
I know, and he didn't play in the playoffs, and he missed games down the stretch and whatever. But like for a while there, he was in and out, but he was in. But anyway, a couple other things.
Gotta be a groin.
Well, you would think, right? Speaking of groin, now Matt Murray, Tree Living says, will be having surgery this week to correct some type of injury. He would not disclose it. I'm sure. What do you think? Like hernia, something, maybe, potentially? It's hard to guess, but like
just quickly, Bob McMahon, it's a knee injury.
Okay, a knee injury.
I was going to say knee, but I wanted to double check because you don't want to get your information wrong.
So no, you don't want to get it wrong. So it's very interesting that Murdog will be having some type of surgery this week.
Yeah.
Tree Living didn't go into explain what it was, but he said that it's months worth of recovery for this. So like, I mean, we're not going to see Matt Murray again. There's no way. But
he said he's out. He said he's done for the year.
Anyway, so is that the last we're ever going to talk about Murray on this podcast? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think it's the last we'll talk about him as a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Probably. Tree Living did not rule out that potentially, depending on what happened here, there could be a Murray sighting, just like Hutch back in the day. There could be a Murray sighting somewhere in the new year, but it's pretty far-fetched for me at this point. Last thing Tree Living said about injuries, no surprise here, Jake Muzzin basically done. Like, cannot participate, and like, would you not expect a retirement announcement by Muzzin in the near future? This guy's one concussion away from he's done, right? Like he can't, unfortunately, Jake can't play, which is very unfortunate because I would like the look of that back end a lot better if Muzz was back.
Oh man, I would love Jake Muzzin on that back end. Yeah, that's what I think. He glossed over it so quickly too, eh?
Yeah.
Like almost like we should all just know that it's coming. Like he's just like, first things first, Jake Muzzin won't be participating this year. Like just boom, get it out of the way.
Wasn't it like several concussions in a row, like very quickly last season?
Yeah.
But the season before that, he had concussion issues. It's like you can't continue to get concussions and continue to play. You just can't do it.
No. We talked about it a lot on last year on our old podcast. Remember there was all the players like Mitch Marner came out and said like he's got to put his life first and his family
100%.
first. Like they didn't come out and say it, but when your teammates are saying stuff like that, it's serious stuff, and he does. Like he has small kids, he has a wife. You got to put that stuff first. And one bang to the head could probably really, really do some damage, some long-term damage. So
for sure. So other than that, I mean, not a lot of crazy things being said around camp. I guess. I don't know, like he did walk back the Snot comment, which I thought was really funny. Like he's like, I didn't think it was going to take on a life of its own. Like he all summer long, he heard everyone was like, oh, but he wants the Leafs to play like Snot, or play with Snot, play with
a little snot.
So he's like, I wish I didn't say that, but I love, like you said, I love that he said.
Yeah, I think I would dive into it head first. If I was him, I would use it in every press conference.
Same here. He basically is.
I'd be like Steve Simmons. That was a little bit of a snot question right there.
Snotty question, Steve.
Jesus.
Team mascot, new dog in the room, Snats. But
got a little Mississippi bloodhound in him.
Look, man, like with Reeves and Domi and Bertuzzi, like, yeah, there's like, that is exactly what he did bring in. So, anyway, but Marner comes out and he says, he makes the piss and vinegar. He says, all the new guys bring a little piss and vinegar, which is nice. And he was getting asked about, like, knowing that Reeves is on the bench or whatever, like if it will make guys play a different way and whatever. And he kind of was like, skirted around it, but ultimately he kind of did say like, well, yeah, probably, like, like knowing that we have basically the toughest guy in the league, that people aren't probably gonna take shots at us, but some people probably still will. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he can't be on the ice all the time, but I think I forget where I heard this, but I heard someone, and it was a perfect analogy of what Ryan Reeves bring. I think it was Noodles who said this. Maybe you heard it, but basically he's like, it's like having a cop sitting at the side of the highway.
Of course.
He's like, you're still going to do your driving, but you're going to slow down a little bit and you're going to think twice because you see the cop is there. That's kind of what Ryan Reeves is going to bring to to the Leafs, but he's not going to play all the time. I don't even know if he'll play every game. Like, will he be a healthy scratch?
I don't.
You think they're going to really ride him out?
They signed him for 3 years. Like,
that's true. That's
not
true.
even league minimum, like 1.3 or whatever. Dude, he's playing.
When you get into the playoffs, like, you've got to give up a roster spot for him, depending on what they do with the trade deadline and how they boost the team and everything. You've got to give up a roster spot to put him there. And then, like, if you're only going to play him 4 minutes, 3 minutes in hopes that maybe he might fight someone or just to have him there as a policeman on the bench, I don't know. That's the one thing, right?
It seems to me like Tree Living has some new ideas floating around here, and we're going to get to that in a second. But I think that how much he's going to be in Keefe's ear as opposed to like Dubas in the past, whatever. Like, I think Tree Living wants a different look here as much as possible, and I think that includes Reeves. I think he's a regular season every nighter, and I would not be surprised if Tree Living wants him in the lineup in the playoffs. Maybe not.
Are you saying that Tree Living is going to have Keefe, like he's going to influence the lineup card?
I think so, yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Well,
I think that like general manager gives you the players, the coach does the coaching.
I think that it's going to be like Tree Living's the new guy in town. He just gave the extension to Keefe. Yeah, Keefe's going to coach the teams and whatever, but like in and out of the lineup and whatever. I think there will be influence there on Tree Living. Like, is he ultimately going to say like you have to play Reeves? I don't know, maybe, but
he can do like Kyle Dubas did to Mike Babcock when he started taking away all his toys.
Right.
You remember that? Remember he'd play like this. He'd play the stupidest people.
Yeah.
So much in healthy scratch, and then he could do something like that. Like if Tree Living only gives him Snot to work with, then you're gonna have to put some Snot together, right?
There you go. Anyway, I see Reeves being an everydayer in the playoffs. We'll see. I would not be surprised if Tree Living wants him in there in the playoffs. We'll see. But
I'm sure he wants him in there. It's just if he's not getting on the ice.
No, I know, but just the fact that he's there, right? That he could be put on the ice. But isn't it nice though to see like on opening day, like no Geno Malgins floating around and stuff like this? Like it does have a different look to it, right?
It did. Did you see the Domi and Reeves just having a scrum?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And I like that. Just like you said, like day one, and they were really giving it to each other. A little different feel, a little different look. It wasn't just floating around. Soft passes kind of thing. They were trying, man.
Like Mitch Marner said, a little piss and vinegar. Love that. So a couple things from Keefe I'm going to throw right to you here. Plans to start Nylander at center. And also he was asked about Austin Matthews killing penalties. He said he will give that a look in the preseason, but no guarantees going forward. No guarantees, he said, with Nylander going forward either, but he's going to have Austin kill penalties in the preseason, and he's going to have Willie start at center to start the preseason. What do you think on both of those things?
I'm not completely sold. I'll start with Nylander. I'm not completely sold with Willie playing center, but I'm also not going to shit on it until I see it. Like I've seen it in the past, but this is a different Nylander, and I kind of want to see what he can bring to it. But I'm not. He doesn't strike me. A centerman really has to get up and down the ice. Like a centerman's got to come back all the way.
He's gotten better at that, though. Do you not think?
Yeah, he has, but he has a tendency to take shifts off and float. So I'm not sold on it, but again, I won't shit on it until I see it, and I could fall in love with Willie at third line center. Austin Matthews killing.
Oh, penalties. I don't hang on 1 second there. Third line center? That's not where that.
Oh, you think it'd be second line center?
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, until I see it, I'm not going to really.
We'll get into that in the line combinations. Yeah. Go ahead.
But Matthews killing penalties, love it. I love it. What I hate is at the end of a penalty kill, when you can't get the guys on the ice to turn around and score. So they've just played their offensive players for 2 minutes. Now they're going to put out some other guys, some third line, fourth line guys. That's usually how it works. And you're trying to get Matthews out, but you just can't get the change right there. Put Matthews out for the last 20 seconds, 30 seconds of the penalty kill. When the penalty's over, he's already on the ice. He's already going against either a tired group or guys of lesser skill. I love it. I love when this is the type of stuff that I love to see.
I like that as well. And Keefe did say, though, he's like, Austin's so good at 5-on-5 play that he's hesitant to have him killing penalties. But what you just said there, you don't have to have him on to start. They've got Camp, they've got Marner still. They did lose some guys that are normal penalty killers, but they'll figure that out here. But I like that, to have Austin on for the last 30 seconds, whatever, like you said, 20 seconds, so that when the penalty expires, he's like already out there.
He's ready to go.
I'm not opposed to it. The injury factor, blocking shots and stuff like that, potentially would deter me a little bit just because of his history. But
for sure, there is downfalls to it. Getting injured is one of them, and also if he's not very good at killing penalties, you can get scored on.
He's a good two-way player, though.
I think he's good enough defensively. I just like it because a lot of times at the end of a penalty kill, you usually get a hold of the puck and the other team's tired and they're trying to get a change or something's going on. Sure. And you've got sometimes they have Marner or whatever out there. They have some offensive player. But if you add Matthews to that, you can make a quick turn and just try and, you don't have to score, but you can turn the tide right after the penalty back into their zone. So I agree. I really like it.
And just so I agree. I think let's give a look at it here. Like, it's been a long time and they haven't had him doing kill penalties his entire career. So let's
try something new. You haven't won a cup. Try anything.
Try something new. And and my thoughts on the Nylander thing is that I like it because I am not a big fan of Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander all playing together in any combination of whatever. It has just not worked, and they've gone back to it time and time and time again, and it just has not worked. In the regular season, sure, it works on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But in April and May, it just really hasn't worked when you've had those guys together. So to have Willie potentially at center with his own line and JT at center with his own line, and then that would make Camp your fourth line center. I like it, man. Spread it out. I have no problem with that.
That's what she said.
Spread it out, baby. Whether it will last or not remains to be seen with Keefe. Like, the blender once he gets the blender going, like, he's all over the place.
And that's something that I hope Keefe has worked on. Like, I love that he's willing to make changes during the game and stuff, but he needs to rope it in a little bit.
Okay, well, he did say about Nylander, he said, I'm not just doing this for a period here or a shift. He's like, I'm basically going to run it through the preseason, give it an extended look, and make a decision after that. So, yeah, I hope.
I can't wait to see it.
Let it marinate. Let it marinate. There you go. Let it marinate for a bit and see. Let it soak. That's right. Give it a nice, deep, long soak and see how it looks at the end. Yep. So anyway,
I like it.
I'm excited about that just because it does give it a different look. So, and you can move JT to the wing if you want, but why not go Matthews, Nylander, Tavares in whatever combination you want there, and then Camp, and away you go. And you got, I know JT's making the 11 million, but think of the ice time. Like, if JT's on the third line and he's getting better matchups every night, like, it might help him produce more, getting easier matchups as he's gets older. I don't know. I'm a fan of it. I like it.
Like I said, I'm not sold on it because of his tendency to take nights off, but
Willie,
with Willie, but I can't wait to see it. And you're right, John Tavares he's definitely golfing on the back nine right now. He's teeing it up on the back nine, so you don't know what you're going to get out of JT. Are you going to get, 3? Are you going to get a better JT, or do you think JT? Do you think there's a chance that he kind of proves everybody wrong this season? I mean, a lot of people talking, he's too old, contract's too big, he's got to go to the wing. Do you think maybe he comes
too big?
But... Okay, the contract's too big, but do you think maybe he comes out and as the second line center just has a hell of a season where we're all like, whoa, one of the best second line centers in the NHL kind of season?
Wouldn't surprise me. He said in his opening day presser media availability yesterday that I don't know if you caught this, but he said that he's really been working on his skating the last 2 summers. And he said that he has seen like significant improvement in his skating. Now, I don't know how much he's not a great skater, so I don't know how much. He's not fast. Like, that's what, not that he's not a great skater, but he doesn't have a lot of speed, right?
Yeah, he's not like today's NHL.
No. So, but he says he's spent the last 2 summers working on his skating. And this summer, he felt like he made significant strides. Now, I haven't seen him in game action. I guess we'll see coming up this weekend or next week.
Yeah.
But that could be a significant thing. If he can improve, like, I don't know, can guys get quicker as when you're at that age?
Anything in life, man. Anything in life that you practice at and work at. I don't care what age you are or what you're doing. If you put in the work, if you put in the effort, you can change. You can get better at anything.
Yeah.
And he strikes me as the type of person, he just strikes me as a determined fucker.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like where I think a lot of guys might, you know, they may take a few weeks, maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks in the summer, go to the cottage and then be like, all right, I got 3 weeks till training camp. It's time to start going for a jog and getting on the ice and doing whatever. I could see him being like, I am going to really, really work on this and get better and do it and prove everybody wrong. He has that in him.
Yeah, for sure. So like I could see a big season from a bunch of these guys, and it should be interesting to see what happens here. So anything else before maybe we go home on the Group A and Group 1 and Group 2? I'm not going to go over Group 3, just the top 2 groups that are going to basically be seeing game action here, line combination. Anything else before we go to that to wrap it up?
No, go ahead. Let's go into Group 1.
Yeah, so Group 1 today. We got Bertuzzi on the wing with Matthews and Marner. Not a big surprise there. We kind of thought that might be whatever. So I'll go through it and then you can talk about it, whatever.
Yep.
Second line in Group 1 was Tavares in the middle with Nyes and Lafferty. Interesting. And when I get into Group 2 here, we'll go a little further. Third line was Gambrell, not Gabriel. Shout out Michaela, though, but unfortunately not Peter Gabriel, but Gambrell with Alex Steves and Hervinen on the other side. And then the fourth line was Fraser Minton in the middle with Kyle Clifford and a couple other guys on the other wing, Ellis, whatever. D pairs, McCabe and Klingberg. We kind of pegged that, like Giordano, Liljegren kind of pegged that. And then the other 2 D pairs, whatever, guys aren't in the mix there. And then they got Samsonov, Petruzzelli, and Hildeby in net. That's Group 1. Do you want to talk about what your thoughts are there? And then we'll go to Group 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Tavares with Nyes and Lafferty is the one that stands out there for me.
Yeah, I mean, the Matthews, Marner, Bertuzzi, we knew that was going to get a look. That's probably going to start the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really
Bertuzzi is like, he's an upgrade for Matthew. He's an upgrade over Bunting for Matthews and Marner. So he's
sure. You said it great the other podcast, maybe on the last podcast, whenever, that, you know, Michael Bunting basically like played with Matthews and Marner, got himself a big contract or whatever. And imagine what Bertuzzi can do. Like they made Michael Bunting like a 25 goal scorer almost.
Yeah.
Imagine what Bertuzzi could do on this line.
Yeah, 100%.
I like it. Or even Domi if he got up there for a few shifts.
No, for sure. And so there's not, you know, like I thought it was going to be interesting to see like who Keefe was going to start like Tavares and Nylander with when he said they were going to kind of center their own line. So Nyes and Lafferty, I see a lot of spreading it out here. Like JT, when JT did
Nyes might be there.
When Nyes played with JT and Willie for a bit in the playoffs, like it was decent. Like Nyes looks like he could fit there, but is that the third line? Is that the second line? Because of Lafferty, I would think it's the potential to be a third line, but who knows? Anyway, the D pairs, there's nothing else really there. I'll go to Group 2. So the Group 2 lines today were Nylander in the middle of Domi and Yarncroc. So I guess you could pick your poison there. Is that JT line potentially the second line, or is the Nylander line potentially the second line, or are they kind of both like the second line and they're just going to alternate?
Yeah, I think JT will probably be the second line center. I think what you're going to see is they're just getting a feel for those guys playing center, and the wingers are going to change over. This isn't anything set in stone. There's no way Lafferty's up on the second line.
But if that's the plans to be the third line.
Maybe it'll change. I mean, that's what happens.
It'll change, but my first look here is like I kind of like it. Like he's really spreading it here, big time.
And you should in the preseason. You should spread it as far as you can spread it. You should see as much as you can. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you know when you spread it so wide that you could see everything. That's what you want.
It's the best way to do it, man. It's the only way I know how to do it. But
Yeah.
so they got a second line in group 2 of Holmberg in the middle with Robertson and Abrazizi. I can't, something like that.
With that one.
How do you pronounce that guy's name?
I just call him AB.
AB. Camp with, here's an interesting one because this could be the potential fourth line. So the PTO, the guy coming in on the PTO, Gregor. I kind of like that last name, Gregor.
Yeah,
Gregor was on the wing with Camp and Reeves. Don't love that, but anyway, whatever. And then they had a fourth line of Easton Cowan, the latest draft pick, with Slavin and a couple other rookies on the other side. Yep. Riley Brody on the back end, Kokkonen and Nemeli or Niemela.
Yeah.
Connor Timmins was like down the line up here on the back end. And then Wall and Jones are the goaltenders in group 2. Any standouts for you there?
No, like you said, I think they're just spreading it out, getting a look at.
It looks like they're really spreading it, though.
Oh, they are spreading it huge. Like
I said, nothing super loaded up. Like Domi with Nylander and Yarncroc, Tavares with Nyes, and Lashley. Like that's interesting, though, man.
Like, you know, they're gonna do this for a bit, and then the team, like, it's gonna get smaller, and you're gonna start to see more of the line combinations. And then when they start to play actual preseason games leading up to the regular season, you're going to see more of the lines that Keefe wants. But right now, he's laying it down. He's spreading it out. He's getting an angle on where he's going to get in there and work on his game, work on the game.
We were talking last podcast about but the prospect camp as well. And Keefe did say today that he was very impressed. He thought the standout for him today or some of the young guys, and he specifically mentioned Nyes, Easton Cowan, and Fraser Minton. So, like those guys Nyes is going to get a spot. Easton Cowan is going back to the London Knights, and Fraser Minton is not. Like, I cannot see it. I just can't see it. It's too early.
I mean, the cupboard's pretty bare in Toronto, so anything you can put in there, good.
Yeah, 100% agree. Other than that, man, I mean, it just should be interesting to see how it goes. One more thing I will say, they released a picture, goalie mask here. They released a picture of Martin Jones' goalie mask. Did you see it?
No.
Oh God, it's fucking incredible. I
gotta look it up.
Didn't have it prepared to go. It's a throwback to the 10, what he thought was the 10 classic Leafs goalie masks of all time. So he's got a little Cujo mask on there, a little Belfour mask on there, Palmatier. He's got like all these Potvin. Like it's a cool design, a really cool looking mask. I don't know if you're going to be able to find it or not. It was on their Facebook page under pictures. I don't know if you're going to be able to find it or not, but
oh yeah, I found it here.
It's a cool looking mask, man.
Yeah, it's really cool. You're right.
Like he's just got all the little, like 10 like little helmets, like 5 on each side, and then a couple big Leafs or whatever. Cool looking mask. So I think it's going to be interesting, man. Joseph Wall and Martin Jones. Like is it a for sure lock there? Do you think with Joseph Wall getting that backup spot, or do you think that if Jones outplays him, like
I was putting up the mask so people can have a look at it on YouTube? But that's kind of both sides of it. You can kind of see Eddie the Eagle. You can see the Cujo in the back. You can see Palmatier. Yeah, that's a really good on him.
Yeah, that's an awesome looking mask. I love that. That's one of my favorite Leafs masks I've seen in quite a while. Really cool looking. But anyway, what are your final thoughts there on how do you think that breaks down? Like what if Jones outplays Wall and Camp? What do you do?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Well, you have to clear waivers to go. You're not going to lose Joseph Wall on waivers. You're just not going to lose him. So you got to take the chance. Like Martin Jones knows that. You got to take the chance, go down there. Now, somebody's going to get hurt. Martin Jones is going to, like, if he passes waivers, because let's be honest, the Leafs don't have a great track record of trying to get goalies through the waiver wire.
No.
But if he does, he will play for the Leafs at some point this year. I mean, Samsonov's going to get hurt. Wall's something's going to happen. He's going to play.
Of course. Yeah. So,
but yeah, I mean, there's just no way that you take the chance of losing Joseph Wall. It's one thing if Martin Jones gets picked up. It's another thing if you lose Joseph Wall, because you don't know what he's going to be. Like, I think he would get picked up in a heartbeat. So,
oh yeah, of course. I just think it's interesting if like he does struggle in training camp and Jones outplays him. I guess you don't have any choice. So I agree. I think the only way that you see, I think they keep Wall no matter what.
You don't want another Garrett Sparks situation.
Oh God, no. But I think the only way you see Jones is if there's an injury, and which likely he will see some action with the Leafs this year. But anything else, Chad?
No, I don't.
Go on for this evening.
Yeah, no, I think it's. I'm ready to go. It was really nice to have everyone back. Watching the press conferences kind of got me a little excited, but not so much the players because they give the same answers every time, but just watching Keefe and Tree Living do theirs. Yeah, I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready for this to start. Because you know how you get so into summer that you kind of like, man, whatever. Our hockey can start when it starts, but then it gets a little cool out. You start getting it on TV and talking about it all the time, and you're like, I'm ready, man.
No, I'm feeling it now.
I'm ready.
I'm glad things are starting back up. So Wednesday night now. They play their first preseason game
Thursday night now.
Or Thursday night. I'm confused. I think I might have said Wednesday off the top too. Anyway, Thursday night.
It's Thursday night.
Thursday night. They play their first preseason game on Sunday afternoon against the Ottawa Senators at 2 p.m. We will be back Sunday night to do another little pod and see if they go with group 1 or group 2. I imagine they're going to keep those groups like for playing games, like alternate them. Do you not think?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
start out. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be going over. We'll be back every few days here
in the swing now. Back in the
preseason, just getting things going, talking about the blue and white, and then getting ready for opening night.
That's right.
Can't wait. Anyway, for the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, don't forget to follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube as well. And if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit like. If you're listening to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast now and you used to listen to us on the Sick Podcast Leafs, go unsubscribe from the Sick Podcast Leafs channel and subscribe to the Tip In Maple Leafs channel because you don't want to get both. We have nothing to do with that one anymore.
No.
Also, you can follow us on Twitter at the Tip In. I was going to say at the Tip In Podcast, at the Tip In Podcast on Twitter, and email us tipinpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
We will.
Yeah, guys, if you're listening on the audio version, please leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us out. Like Chad said, thumb up this video. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are going to be bringing you the best Leafs content all season long, guaranteed, or your money back. All right, guys, we'll see you Sunday after the first preseason game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh, boy. Can't wait. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let's get this puppy fired up. We'll catch you guys later.
Catch you later.